everybody, I'm Destiny. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be talking about love and relationships in your early 20s. I am smack dab in the middle. I'm 25 years old. So I've had a couple of years of experiences and I've collected some wisdom for you guys. During that stage of life, you're probably still deciding what career path you want to go to, which school you want to go to, where you want to live, what you want to do with your life, and so many things. What you're going through as an individual actually may reflect what you're going through in your dating life as well. Which brings me to life lesson number 1. Taking dating as a learning experience. Why do I say it like that? A lot of 20-year-olds think that dating is about finding your one true love, but it's kind of missing the point. You should also be dating to actually experience dating and learn about yourself. Like, learn about your interests, learn about what you like and what you don't like. Learn about your values, like what's important to you and what's not important to you. And lastly, about your standards, expectations, and boundaries, like what you're going to accept and what you're just not going to accept. It takes a lot of experience and time to understand and learn how to maintain a healthy relationship. So just remember, if your dating life seems confusing or unsuccessful, don't label it as that. It's not technically a failed relationship if you actually took away something from it, if you actually learned something. And that's what dating is all about. That's what meeting people and socializing and getting to know them is all about. It's also about getting to know yourself. Dating life lesson number 2 is don't go and try to find love, because love will find you. It's crazy because a lot of people who I talk to who have found quote unquote the one, they always tell me that they found love when they least expected it. They kind of just did them and did what's best for them and tried to make themselves happy and just lived their life the way that they truly wanted to live it. And they didn't really worry about dating and relationships because they knew when the time was right, they would find the right person. And I know that it sounds so corny, but it's absolutely true. If you try to keep forcing things, you're gonna end up finding love in all the wrong places. When someone truly wants you and someone truly values your time and wants to get to know you and puts their effort into you, it shouldn't feel forced because it's gonna feel easy. It's gonna have a natural flow and chemistry to it. Like, you should be comfortable in your singleness. You should be comfortable being an individual and being emotionally independent and not have to rely on someone to make you happy. As an individual, that's your responsibility. So don't go looking for relationships. Don't go looking for your other half. Your other half will eventually find you. When you're living your best life and when you find the right one, you'll know it. It's just gonna happen to you. Dating life lesson number 3 is don't allow other people to influence your major decisions in life. Do not base any of your major decisions in life on your current relationship. In your early 20s, you have a lot of decisions to make, like where you're going to go to college or where you're going to live, what jobs you're going to take, who you're going to hang around with. At the same time, you have to think about your needs and your desires first, not somebody else's. If you let other people influence you, then eventually down the road, you might actually be remorseful. Not only remorseful towards your partner, but also towards yourself, because there's a lot of opportunities that you might have passed or avenues that you could have taken, and you don't want to feel like you're doing a disservice to yourself. You have to think about what you want out of life. What are your desires? What are your needs? What are your goals? You shouldn't let someone have power over you or set limits on you and just make your decisions based on solely what you want out of life. Dating life lesson number 4 is don't allow people to tell you that dating around makes you promiscuous. Also, don't allow people to tell you that sleeping around also makes you promiscuous, because it doesn't. There's a common misconception that if you date multiple people at the same time that you're a player if you're a guy or you're promiscuous if you're a girl, and I really don't buy into that at all. Dating people is just about getting to know people and seeing whether or not you like them, if you're attracted to them, if you have a natural chemistry with them, if you can create a deeper bond with them. But if that doesn't happen for you, you can just move on to the next person. And you can do that with multiple people at the same time. And as long as you're true about your intentions and honest with the people that you're involved with, there's no harm or foul in that. Always be safe and sexually responsible, if you know what I mean. Ask your partner before you're sexually active with them to get tested or to wear a condom, or make sure that the girl that you're doing stuff with is on birth control. And ask about their dating history, ask about their sexual history. If you can't have these open conversations with someone, then you probably shouldn't be dating them, to be honest. You probably shouldn't be in bed with them if you can't be open and honest about these sort of things. The last third rule that I always go by is do not mess with someone that's already in a committed monogamous relationship. You're not supposed to be dating anybody who's already in a committed relationship. Then if people call you a player, if people call you promiscuous, then they actually have a valid reason to, because at that point you're trifling. A lot of people don't keep their private life private, and they talk. Guys talk. Guys have group chats. Girls have group chats. You will be in the group chat, trust me. Sometimes girls can be really catty and like jealous and just gossip about you. And sometimes, word spreads around a college town or high school or the workplace, and they label you as a F-boy or a promiscuous woman because they're just jealous, because they are ignorant and they probably don't even know anything about you. But because they think that way about you, they want other people to think that way about you. Therefore, word gets around. And sometimes even people fabricate situations. So just try to protect yourself at all costs. So my last piece of dating advice that I learned in my early 20s is how to maintain a healthy, long-lasting relationship. By the way, I have a boyfriend and we've been together for 6 going on 7 years. So this is how I know this stuff. The first essential that you absolutely need in your relationship in order for it to be healthy and successful is trust. When you're younger, in your early 20s, trust is experienced and thought of differently than when you are 25 and approaching your 30s. In your early 20s, you think of trust as whether or not we can trust you with our heart, whether or not we can trust you with considering our feelings, and whether or not we can trust you to be faithful and not cheat. But it's actually way, 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 way more than that. You shouldn't ever have to think on whether or not they're cheating on you or not. You have life to live. You do not have time for that. You know what I'm saying? You should have so much worth and value in you that you shouldn't have to think about that. That should just be a given. You shouldn't even have to bring up that in the first place. You shouldn't have to ask someone to be faithful in the relationship. As you approach 25 and then 25 is approaching 30, you really realize that in order to build a relationship with someone, a bond with someone is easy. But in order to build a life with someone is totally different. You need to trust them financially. You need to trust them with your emotional issues, to build on properties, to have cars, to have a child, to have a life together, to grow old together. That's totally different because you need trust in order to do all that. In general, is more about consistency and reliability. When you're older than 25 and you're approaching your 30s, you're actually looking for a long-term relationship that you can build on and possibly even marry that person. The second essential that you absolutely need in your relationship is good communication. And I think that one is a little bit self-explanatory. If you guys have failing communication, then you're not going to be able to work out your problems. You're not going to be able to understand each other. And that obviously is an essential and foundation in your relationship. The third essential that you absolutely need in your relationship in order to make it work is respect. I feel like women can be very forgiving, but we remember disrespect. We harbor that. We think about it and it goes right into the back of our brains. So respect is actually very, very important. The fastest way to lose a woman is to disrespect her. Men, the same way, like to be respected. Men have like really big egos. They like to feel like they're the leader. They like to feel like the man in the relationship. And when you disrespect them, in essence, you're devaluing them and their role in the relationship. You can't really work with a woman if you feel that way, you know? I would say, like, learn how to argue in a healthy way. Like, don't belittle that person. Don't swear at them. Like, don't use profanity while you're mad at each other. Don't raise your voice, especially in public. Keep things private. Don't try to embarrass your partner. Don't try to go outside of the relationship every single time you have a problem, to talk down to them, to belittle them, to not acknowledge or care about the way that they feel, like the way that you make them feel. That is so important. So yes, respect is also very essential. The fourth essential component to a healthy, long-lasting relationship is effort. You have to put in effort. Doesn't matter how long you've been in a relationship for, effort is so important. I remember my father always saying, you can't fight someone who's not willing to get into the ring with you. And that sounds like a silly metaphor, but in essence, what that means, you can't argue with someone who's not willing to argue back with you. You cannot talk to someone who's not willing to talk. And you can't try to fix problems or find solutions to the situation if the other person is also not willing to like fight for a solution as well. You shouldn't feel comfortable to not put effort into your relationship. And also, taking your girl out on a date, dating her like it's your first date ever, spend quality time with them and talk one-on-one with them and banter and flirt and still do those types of things that you did in the beginning of the relationship all throughout the relationship. Reviving that passion after a long time, that's really, really important. Okay, so I think that I'm just going to end off this video here. I hope that you guys liked the advice that I gave you and the life lessons that I learned. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like this channel and you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you guys have a nice Valentine's Day. Bye!